So maybe this will be today's story. It's not really a story. Speaking with my and don't say my spear because don't consult with him in the optimistic way, but teacher and mentor, and certainly a person to whom I greatly respect, and always a source of inspiration. Rabbi Avram Glick in Melbourne, Australia. So he was saying like this. I mean, just quoting the Sichas as was in V'dayotzi, the word that he. Number one, if those who heard me last night, I mentioned this last night. It's very important to know that number one, it's like a test, Kislev Dike Maimer, Tavshim Mem Beis, and Tzmuga was printed in Tavshim Mem Zayin. The Rebbe says that unequivocally, do it ever happen. A tzaddik is the complete master of all of his material affairs, and whatever happens to him is with his askom. I mentioned the famous, it's also in the Chodesh selling base, it's all muga and edited. The Rebbe says the Yaakov Bekudei Tavshin Yud, this is right after Yud Shvat, that the Rebbe, meaning the Fidig Rebbe, but Alts Bavarant. Alts Bavarant means forewarned everything, took into consideration everything and prepared for it. So he says the Maimon Basi Legani, he talks there that in order to achieve victory, Midatzan Nitzachem, then there's no limits. Nitzachem draws on the Etzem and the Neshama, and therefore there's the Bizbus Ha'itzeres, the squandering of the treasures that have been collected over the centuries and never revealed or shown. There's the Bizbus, and then these are the three Lashonis, he says there in the Maimon Basi Legani. And then he adds, the king will throw open the treasure chests, stand in the throes of the battle himself, and cast his life before him, give up his life literally. So the Rebbe said about the Fidik Rebbe, he's talking about himself. The Rebbe passes this, and he's talking about himself. The first was the Bizbuz Ha'itzeres. The Fidik Rebbe revealed things that no Rabbi had revealed before. Treasures in the Sichas of the Fidik Rebbe, which we don't learn enough, any time. That didn't help, says the Rebbe. So he himself threw himself into the battle. The Rebbe adds there that he himself was involved at the most basic, Aleph base, not just Milamayla, but involved in the Afatza. And that didn't help. He gave up his life. The Rebbe cried and cried and cried and said, and since this is the final word in the Maimer, that means there's nothing left but for us to girdle our loins and carry out the shlichus. So what's with the vote over here? The vote. The Rebbe is passing about himself, obviously, as he himself says, when a tzaddik rules about another, it's a mission in Pirkei Avos. He's saying about himself also. Bizbuz Ha'itzeres, we don't have to say, but the Rebbe has revealed the depth. Pull back the final curtain on Hashem's face. The Chodesh Kislev, the heart attack, was when the Rebbe went home after the heart attack, the Shemini Atzeres, in the presence of, not that we understood what was happening there, not to tell you the story now. It's one of the most extraordinary stories of this century. It was witnessed by thousands of people. Saw it. The throes of a heart attack. How he conducted himself. So that the king standing in the throes of the battle, so there's a big connection here because the heart, unlike the brain, the brain governs from a distance, as it were, via the nervous system. The brain itself is not actively engaged. The heart is expanding, contracting, taking the blood from every part of the body, comes back to the heart. Oxygen pumps it back out. The heart is Bekisha Melchama. It's in the throes of the battle. Then there came Chazan Nodar and Gimel Tammuz, the Mashta Chaim Neged, the brain is the two levels of a leader. A leader is the head and the heart of the people, and the liver. and sacrificed it all. And just all to say that it's nothing happens to a tzaddik without his permission. As I said last night, if there's another way, there would be another way that redemption could come, I would not agree. But it has to come this way, the way it's coming. But it's, like the Rabbi said, Alts Bavorend. And I just want to conclude that Chodesh Kislev, which we're celebrating after the heart attack and the Rebbe's return to good health, we're not just celebrating this for the next 14, 16 years that Rebbe was with us. No, it's now. The Chodesh Kislev means the moon disappeared. If it appears like it's all over and it's renewed. It's renewal. And just like Rosh Chodesh Kislev, the Rebbe was restored to us physically. It was miraculous, as the Dr. Weiss was describing last night. So Rosh Chodesh Kislev is an empowerment of the Rebbe's presence with us, impacting the physical world. The physical world is renewed and deepened every year Rosh Chodesh Kislev, which is today. All right, friends.